Welcome again to another fine edition of 151. Hello again, I'm Adam, and of course I'm joined by a man whose sexual prowess knows no limits. It's the Justin.
As always.
Sorry, I was trying to do the Top Gear thing. I always loved how what's-his-name introduces the Stig.
He only knows 2 facts about ducks, and they're both wrong.
So, welcome again. We're getting going on another new episode, and to jump right into it this week, something came out. Well, 2 things came out.
It wasn't one of us.
I got a wife and everything. I swear.
Yeah.
I don't hang out with Justin in my basement all the time.
We've never seen her. Just saying.
You know what's funny on the radio show I do that I'm co-host of? Mm-hmm. She has never been on the air.
No.
In 9 years, she has never been on.
No.
On the show.
I've been on more than she has.
Yes. No, that's completely accurate.
Yep.
No, 2 things came out, and they both have to do with Star Wars. First, Force Awakens.
On Blu-ray.
On Blu-ray.
And DVD, VOD, whatever you're.
And I think I have a digital download on this one.
The Voodoo?
I guess. I don't know. I've never used it much. But...
I've used a couple of those. They don't work too bad.
So here's the cover. So you had that come out. And then, of course, you had the teaser to a teaser.
Yes, the teaser trailer. The teaser to a trailer.
And then the actual tease trailer.
Yes, for
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Rouge One.
Which, that was the best part about this. During its social media takeover, some people spelled Rouge and Rogue, got it mixed up. And so Rouge One was trending for a couple days.
That's hilarious to
How
me.
great is that?
Well, lipstick sabers rather than lights. I mean, the script writes itself.
Can you imagine? Okay, just before we actually get into all the other stuff, that's a great porn name, right?
Wood Rocket should be all over this.
Star Wars Rouge One.
Yeah.
I'm down with it. I'd watch that.
Yes.
Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the actual movie? Because I've watched it a second time and I have some thoughts on it.
Let's jump right into those.
Okay. Second thought, we did the full Star Wars Awakens review a couple weeks ago, a month or so or whatever it's been.
A while back.
And I don't want to make it sound like I hate this movie, because I don't. I was talking to a buddy last night. He just saw it for the first time. And he's like, I'm not a Star Wars guy, but I really like this movie. And I wrote to him, I go, listen, I don't hate this movie. I just don't think it's as epic as everybody makes it out to be. And I think my second viewing really laid that in stone for me.
Well, and I think something that we talked about was A, the time separation between the last Star Wars movie, B, the expectation of this, in comparison to the prequels.
Yeah.
Whether or not it helped this movie. And I think now that you're not walking out of the theater for the first time, it's not, you have a more objective view into it. I have not watched it a second time. You
have a copy.
I have a copy. I picked up parts and pieces, but it's hard to set in. That was a 2.5 hour movie. And with a 3-year-old, it's hard to...
It is exactly 136 minutes.
So 2 hour and 15-minute movie. Yeah. But it's been hard to try and carve out any time to do that.
Yeah,
so.
I get you. No, I sat down and watched. I got it, just went and got it. I watched half of it before I had to go get the kid. And then, as soon as a kid went back to sleep, I'm like, I'm finishing this. Mm-hmm. And long story short, it's just, I think my biggest issue with this, getting hot.
Yeah, a little bit.
It takes a little bit of practice to wear a stocking cap all the time.
Well, I mean, I just started out thinking I was one comfort. I've also pounded, a lot of coffee here. It's warmed me up. So
that and just not feeling the Punisher. You got your shameless plug in there?
Oh, no. My shameless plug will be later.
Which is a real thing. You'll find out about that here in a little bit. My biggest thing with it is what really sold me on it was someone took New Hope and Force Awakens and put them side by side. And there are so many scenes that are exactly the same. And after that, it's like, I will say this, though, after my second viewing, which for the last 3 minutes, I've talked about nothing and made 3 minutes of audio out of it. I like Kylo Ren a lot more.
Really?
You want to know why?
Okay.
Because Kylo Ren uses the Force exactly the way I would. Or like the lightsaber.
To be a little bitch.
No, think about it. Like if you really had a lightsaber and you had, force powers and stuff, when he just destroys the computer console?
Yes.
I got to thinking about like, have you ever been so mad?
He has all the power and absolutely no discipline with it, no training, he's indulging, every little whim. Like, yes, like, let's face it, you add that kind of power to your normal average person, and that's exactly what they do.
But like, thinking about when you're so mad, you like punch a wall or you throw something or whatever. Like, I got to thinking about like, I would totally take a lightsaber and just destroy something, or like at work, just drag it down the wall from like one end of the building to the other, just boom, just all the way down. But I don't know why I like him a lot better.
And lumberjacking would go a lot quicker, a lot easier.
Oh, it'd be awesome. Lumberjacking would be the greatest profession ever if you had lightsabers.
Yeah.
There's just so many, I guess, some of the gaps in logic. Like Han Solo and them just happening to stumble across them after so much time. Oh, wow, my ship got stolen by this guy, which got stolen by this guy, which stolen, and we just happened to be in the same neighborhood.
The beacon kicked on, and in less than 7 minutes, we were able to...
Yeah, which I get it. You're moving the story along and all that. There's some...
But that's not atypical of, okay, look at the guy who did that, and look at the guy who decided that we could... I almost said a curse word. That we could beam from Earth to the Klingon homeworld.
Yeah.
That Vulcan is a 5-minute trip away.
Yeah.
That kind of sloppy storytelling is not uncommon. That is a huge blind spot.
Yeah.
For Abrams stuff, apparently.
It solidifies to me that they made the movie people wanted to see. Because, like you said in the original review, it's hard to make space politics interesting.
Exciting.
Yeah. They made the movie that everybody bitched about until they got it. And they got essentially another New Hope.
Another New Hope. Which, again, and like I said, I think the first time, that in itself is, the Joseph Campbell, man, boy, orphan boy, farm boy, finds a mentor, finds out he's a long-lost heir, blah, 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 blah. It's a classic, reclaim the kingdom, end up as the king of the end story. That story in itself is not new, but I really think, and we had a little bit of a debate about this on Facebook one day, I really do think that it was trying to be an homage, and before they got all said and done, they ended up ripping it off a lot harder than what they intended to.
Well, like I asked, is it an homage to it, or is it a remake? Because if you label it a remake, it's the best remake that someone has ever done. Like, if none of the other Star Wars movies had ever come out, and this was the first one, this would be a great movie.
It would be a great movie, but I don't think you can have a remake when you have the original characters still in it.
Yeah,
and moving down the road. You can have history repeating itself.
Yeah.
Which, it certainly does. Again, basically somebody needs to go back and stop the Skywalkers from being involved in galactic politics, because this is a family feud that's gotten out of hand.
I do like BB-8 more.
Yeah?
I never, for Star Wars, like through the first 6, the droids never really did anything for me. Like, I was never really... what Lucas said something about, it's a story about the droids or something at one point, or something in that neighborhood. And I just never got that. I'm like, I don't care about some robots.
I think he said something to the effect that the audience is taking, riding along with the droids and seeing this, from beginning to end, because they're the only constant all the way through it, which, I don't know that I necessarily subscribe to that theory either. It may have started as the story of Anakin Skywalker from his, fall and redemption, et cetera, but we're past that now.
Yeah.
Now it's just that, how bad can the Skywalker screw up intergalactic relations and politics?
I got to tell you, the other thing I kind of noticed about this, the bromance between Finn and Poe. Is that his name, Poe?
Yeah, Poe Dameron.
Like, I started to laugh in the middle of the movie. Especially when they reconnect.
Yeah.
Is that my jacket? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good on you. You keep it.
Yeah, it's It's like, are you guys going to start having slumber parties or something? You guys, waiting for the pizza bagels? Is this going to be a version of Superbad here in a little bit?
Exactly.
Sorry, I watched Superbad the other night.
I don't think necessarily. I mean, that's a bad thing to have, but I mean,
it's very bromance.
It's very bromance.
Like they became friends very quickly.
Yeah. They're gonna end up like in a tattoo parlor on Tatooine. Maybe that's how it got its name.
What if that is like
an entire city of tattoo parlors?
Yeah, it's the intergalactic place that you go to for a tattoo.
Yeah,
they like do reality shows on it and stuff.
After midnight at night, everybody hops on a freighter to Tatooine. They all get hit the slum bars and get tattoos.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't hate this movie at all.
I don't either.
It's just it's essentially the same. I've seen this movie before, and it really confirmed it for me watching it again. It was nice to see Harrison Ford like actually give a rip about doing a movie, and I think it's only because he knew he was going to get killed. Spoiler alert. So,
well, but think about that though. He's signed back up for Star Wars.
No,
obviously, he won't rule out that he's in 8 in some way, shape, or form.
Picture on a desk.
I don't know. I mean, you can't. I mean, they can flash back. They could have a flashback scene. Maybe some of the stuff that led to Kylo Ren turning into emo little whiny bitch. But you can't Force ghost a guy who never really wasn't a Jedi.
You know what though? I may argue that because of how cinematic they made that scene, his death scene.
Yeah. Of
him falling into the light.
Yeah.
And that whole scene, I mean, it's very dark side, light side.
Yeah, but I mean, we're already in, we're already in a universe with space wizards and light swords. Are we really going to go, even that further over the top? That might be the point at which you lose me.
Really?
But
that's it.
That's it. Harrison Ford being a Force ghost. That might be the point at which you lose me. Ewoks, fine. Teddy bears, I'm good. Yeah. Han Solo, Force ghost. Yeah. Well, even Anakin. It was presented that was the reason that Yoda and Obi-Wan were the only ones running around is because that had taken, basically Qui-Gon figuring that out. The only part of the prequels that I actually will go, yeah, that makes sense, that all this training to get done, to become one, to be the Force ghost thing. Otherwise, you'd have them all over the place.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't buy that. But circling back around, Harrison Ford signed back up for Star Wars. This one. Won't say that he's not in 8. He's doing Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah.
He's doing Blade Runner 2. It is actually nice to see him kind of circle around and acknowledging some of the stuff that made him who he is and say, yeah, this isn't,
Do we get Air Force 1 too?
Air Force 12?
See what you did there.
Yeah, thank you. I think Air Force One said what we needed to say.
Get off my plane.
Yeah.
Get off my plane.
Get off my plane.
No, I like I said, I liked it. I'm just not going to give it credit for being this epic movie that everybody says.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know what? Maybe in 2 weeks, I'll come back and say, hey, I just watched it for the second time. Yeah, it fell flat. You're exactly right.
Yeah. So real quick before we get to the Rouge One trailer. Do you ever watch Star Wars Rebels?
Off and on. I've seen it.
I actually really like that.
I think it's getting better all the time as they bring stuff into it. It started out a little slow, so I didn't get a lot into it. But I'm still DVRing it every once in a while. I'll pick up an episode.
Did you see the season finale? Mm-mm. All I'm gonna say is Darth Vader riding a TIE fighter is pretty awesome. Mm. They have this scene where he just kind of lowers it and he's on top of a TIE fighter, and all I could think was, boy, that moment you're...
Yeah, exactly.
Or it was either that or that's how he should fly all the time.
All the time, just strapped to the outside of the
TIE
fighter.
He's got the foot clamps in it, and he just stands on top of a TIE fighter and rides it.
Like a snowboard.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, though. Can you imagine looking out your window and seeing Darth Vader fly by on a TIE fighter, like standing on top of it, and he just does the
sub
and then crushes your ship with the Force. Anyways, so Rogue One, the trailer finally came out. Like we said, they had like the 10-second teaser, 20-second or whatever it was, and then they did the actual trailer teaser. I can't remember how they.
It's the first official trailer.
So it comes out and
December.
No, I was actually thinking of what my first thought of it was going to be.
My first initial thought after seeing it was, holy crap, did they do a good job casting Mon Mothma. The chick that they got to play.
Yeah.
I mean, just a straight up, double of the gal who played it in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
De-aged. I mean, it's perfect casting. Best thing I've seen. I thought it was all CGI until I looked her up and realized that was the same woman from Revenge of the Sith.
My initial thought on the whole thing was, It didn't really. I know that they've got to keep some of the stuff under wraps. You got to keep, some of the story, and because we already know the story, we know what's going to happen in this. We just don't know how it's getting there.
We know a very broad story. That they succeed in getting the plans, and many Bothans died to bring you this information.
Yeah. But I watched it and I was just like, okay. Like, it was cool seeing the Death Star get the huge
laser installed.
Yeah, the huge laser installed.
Focusing device.
It was cool that the main character, the girl, her in the Empire uniform at the end, like the armor. I was like, man, I'd like to take that off. She's hot. She's a good looking girl.
Yeah, true.
And that was kind of it for me.
I got a very Winter Soldier vibe.
Really?
Yep. Like, they could actually do a sort of, spy movie, heist movie, espionage movie.
It's going to be a heist movie
in the Star Wars universe. And much like that was Winter Soldier was kind of a 70s political thriller. I think if they do this right, it's gonna come out of nowhere and surprise everybody like Winter Soldier did.
The thing I liked most about it, it looks like an original story. It's not a rehash of.
Yeah, no, you're right. It does. And I guess the thing that I was excited to see, and I didn't know I was excited to see it till after it was done, is if I'd have seen one frickin' lightsaber light up in that trailer, I'd have washed my hands of it.
Really?
Yep.
Like, you would have been just done with it right then?
Yep, done with it right then. It should not be. There shouldn't be any Jedi in it.
Vader's supposed to be in it. Vader.
And I'll give you that because he is a pre-existing, a known threat, a pre-existing force, But, I mean, this is the period of time, 3 and 4, Obi-Wan, Yoda are both in hiding.
Yeah.
They're the last two. There should be, besides, the Rebels and the Extended, blah, blah, blah. There should be 0 Jedi in this thing, period.
It was kind of lackluster seeing a dude fight off stormtroopers with a stick.
I don't know.
I mean, he was, just after all you see with the lightsabers and all that, seeing a dude fight with a stick, it was like,
I don't know. Everybody went crazy for a stormtrooper with a force baton.
Yeah.
And not a force baton, but just a stun baton.
Yeah. Have you heard any of the stuff about Darth Vader, what he's supposed to do in it? I read, and it's been a while since I read this, so...
Spoiler alert!
So, Lord knows if it's true or not, but it read like Vader is going to be brutal, like using dead bodies as shields with the Force.
Interesting.
And just wiping people out.
Interesting.
Which I'm completely okay with.
Anakin at the height of his rage fit?
Yeah, I'm okay with this. I don't think he's supposed to be in it much, but you're supposed to get a glimpse, I guess.
Here's the thing, though. You've got to reconcile somehow Darth Vader with the ultimate badass that he was supposed to be. The ultimate badass that Anakin sort of was. I guess I always thought the way that you make it jive between what he was and what he was when Ben Kenobi says, crippled and twisted and evil, more machine than man.
Yeah.
That his, I guess, physical prowess, his lightsaber prowess, all the rest of it was handicapped by how much, of his body was machine after, he got chopped up. I guess I'm okay with a lot of Force stuff, but you can't make Darth Vader, the holy one-man army badass that they've always tried to make him in the video games, because that doesn't work. I mean, an untrained boy in A New Hope through Return of the Jedi was his equal or his match.
Yeah.
Now, granted, some of that, he was fighting his own son and he knew it, but he wasn't all that. I mean, there is a sort of Boba Fett shadow laying on Vader in those movies.
What's the point? You know what I always wondered about this? I've got it on in the background over here. Oh, Forrest Whitaker in it. Doesn't need a lightsaber, just his stare.
Crazy Forrest Whitaker is best Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, here, there's a dude fighting the stormtrooper. You missed it. Never mind.
Well, that'll happen.
Forrest Whitaker. I did not know he was in here.
I think they should credit him as Force Whitaker. Yeah, see what I did there?
One of the things I do kind of want to see, they've got the, what are the AT-AT?
Yeah.
At.
All-terrain.
Why do they double that?
Because...
All-terrain.
No, it's not all-terrain. It's all-terrain attack something.
I am kind of curious to see if those look a lot more badass.
The four-legged walkers are AT-ATs, and the two-legged walker are AT-STs. Mm-hmm. And they're the designation is in that, whether they're 4 or 2.
You're such a nerd.
I know.
No, but I'm looking at that and I'm like, man, maybe those things will finally be cool.
And because I know that the last time that we discussed those, that I got flack from it, I would like to stay still a shitty attack vehicle design. I don't care whether they were designed for swamps. They're an oversized dog. You know who you are.
It's so true. They're so horrible.
They're terrible.
I mean, you could sit and do a whole one of these shows on just how bad the Empire's planning is. Like, you could sit and make a list of all the crap that just doesn't work.
Thermal exhaust port. Seriously?
Not one person guarding that thing.
So, how did we lose the Battle of Hoth? Where's our after-action report? They tripped him? They tripped what?
They essentially used a bolo.
They tripped all of our assault vehicles. We have repulsor technology, tracks, wheels, whatever, and they tripped them.
Yeah, the dude fighting with the stick just doesn't do it for me.
Well, maybe there'll be more.
And who's the dude in the cape, the white cape?
The only white Imperial uniform that has ever existed in the old EU, the old extended universe, was that of a Grand Admiral.
Okay.
Grand Admirals were such, to be one, you had to be such tactical genius that most of them would actually, when it came to troop command, fleet command, and movements of the Empire, would outrank Vader himself. There were only, I think, 12 of them ever awarded, and they answered directly to Palpatine and had absolute control over fleet movements, troop movements. The rumored existence of a Grand Admiral in the extended universe after Return of the Jedi, before we got all this new stuff, was enough to basically break the New Republic. Because they collectively crapped themselves over the fact that there might be a Grand Admiral running around because they knew they couldn't stand up to him.
So essentially Zap Brannigan.
And then some. I love the feel of velour on my skin.
I just sent wave after wave of my own men at the kill.
They're so neutral.
There's only one surefire way into a woman's heart and parts beyond. I speak, of course, of karaoke. That is my favorite one of all time.
Yep.
So Rogue One, or Rouge One, depending on how you spell it, trailer's out now. It has, at this moment, 26 million, almost 27 million views. So I think people like it.
Yeah. I've heard more...
When's it come out again? December?
Yep. I've heard more in the last week about the Rogue One trailer than I have about the entirety of the Batman vs. Superman movie.
We'll get to that.
I know.
Believe me, we will get to that. So, yep, December. Real 3D and IMAX 3D. Not worth it. Neither one.
Especially not for first viewing.
No.
Take it all in first, and then go get your 3D.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm waiting for. I'm sure they'll have better trailers coming up, and
I'm sure,
and all of that. Get the excitement.
I'm pretty sure the Disney marketing will make sure that we are well prepared between now and December.
So, All right, well, that's pretty much going to do it for this segment of 151. You can follow us on Twitter at 151. We're on Facebook. It's facebook.com/151 the show. We need just a website.
We do.
At some point, we need to just break down, because all this is free. Oh, speaking of which, maybe it's time for a shameless plug.
Ooh, shameless plug. Cue the music. This week's shameless plug, something, and what this is, we're gonna pick something, a product, a website, a video,
something we
book,
like,
a music, something that we
shut
like.
it down.
And
Just shut
forget
it down.
Hey, screwed up. We're done. We're out. We're gonna pick something we like, something that's moved us. It could be a product, could be a service, could be any of those. Something that we would tell you, if you're gonna spend some of your hard-earned money, we like this.
Yeah.
For me, this week, it's going to be Loot Crate. Loot Crate is a monthly subscription service, and they send you a plain black box to your door every month.
Okay.
You get...
Does it got a website?
They do. Oh, yeah, they got a website.
Was it?
Lootcrate.com.
Loot or loot?
LOOT crate.com.
Okay, gotcha.
They will send you toys, like a Funko Pop figure, something. There's a lot of Loot Crate exclusive, nothing else nobody has. I've got Fallout bobbleheads, limited edition Funkos.
What's a Funko?
It's one of those little vinyl figures.
With the head that kind of...
with the big head kind of over,
Not a
like
bobblehead.
Not a bobblehead. Well, some of them are.
Okay.
Some of them aren't. T-shirts, limited edition stuff. I've got a Galaxy Quest, patch, uniform patch that's actual screen accurate. They had the original prop guys go back and build them.
Hey, real quick, Galaxy Quest. Did you hear the news about that?
Yeah, that Alan Rickman's passing unfortunately prevented 2.
Yes.
They were going to do a sequel.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I know.
Anyway, so Loot Crate, which you can find lootcrate.com.
Yep. And you can do it. You can do it as a monthly deal. You can do it as a one-off. You can do it. But each month they'll have a theme. Like this last month's theme was Versus, and that stocking hat that I was wearing at the beginning of the Punisher flips
The
over.
one that you threw away when you could have used as a prop
Yep.
right now.
Yep, threw away. I was
Just took it off and threw it on the floor.
Punisher on one side, Daredevil is the other side, reversible. This T-shirt, Mirror, Spock, the classic Star Trek episode. Got the 2 Spocks. I've gotten Bill and Ted stuff, Back to the Future stuff.
Ooh, they got Dragon Ball Z.
Yep, they got all sorts of stuff.
Nintendo.
Depending on the month. They'll theme it and throw in like 3 to 4 items. Shows up about the 25th of every month, and you don't know what's in it, and you get a nice little surprise every time.
That's cool.
So it's a treat yourself sort of thing.
Do I dare ask how much?
It's like $20 a month.
That's not bad.
It's not terrible.
That's like going to Walmart and buying a T-shirt every month.
It is.
So.
It is. It's it's not hard to justify. If you spend $1 a day on coffee and give it up, you can make it happen. So
I'm not willing to do that.
I'm not either.
I like my coffee.
So do I.
All right. Loot Crate. That is this show's
Shameless plug.
All right. We will see you next time, where we'll talk about something or other that has to do with stuff. Goodbye, friends. Do you like that?
I did. Yeah. That's good.
If you like this video as much as Justin did, please make sure to follow us on these other fine media platforms.